to Nature's Neighbor. I'm your host, Melanie Blankenship, and well, I might be joined here shortly with my co-host, Josh Carmichael. We are on location right now in beautiful downtown Los Osos. Can you tell it's kind of foggy, a little overcast, and when you take a North County person and bring them to the, South County and Osos, it's kind of a treat, especially on this very first week of June. And who would have thought that it would be this cool, though? But, it's kind of fun because we're kind of doing these pop-ups and doing these podcasts on location. And, well, this is a first, too, because Josh is doing some kind of, cooking pop-up. You can see a little bit of the menu here and a little sample of what is to come. There's a lot going on, and I actually hear him coming. I think I hear him and see him. Yes, I do. So he'll be able to explain the podcast again. This is how we roll. We're all I'm on, dude. We're on. We're live.
Oh, I got a drink. I got headphones.
You got I took the
got
boy.
A sweaty shirt. I'm good.
Well, it's better than the Dodgers one you had last week. So
Easy, girl.
This is how you roll, right? You went from landscaping and playing in the soil earlier. You washed up a little bit to go into that kitchen.
I did. Change clothes.
This is the life of living on the Central Coast, right? It's like you.
Well, I love going to every village, and this is my village, so welcome. Glad you're here.
I started it off going
partying hard for a Monday.
North County person in the first week of June. To the slight fog overcast of Osos.
I know. I loved when I looked at the forecast. It was the coldest day. That's how we keep the tourists away.
Yeah, no. You know what? But when you take it from the North County, it was supposed to be a little warmer today, but it wasn't too bad.
I went up there,
beautiful.
got the wine, got the vermouth from Hubba. Thanks, guys. And then we built a garden here at my friend's restaurant so we can have this outdoor space. We're gonna have some music with some local friends.
Okay, let's go back a little bit.
Okay, I'll have a sip while you talk.
Okay, good. Wet your whistle because you're gonna talk about why did you bring Miguel and I down to Osos?
That's right.
Okay, talk about it. Why are we here?
So here I am.
Talk closer because I hear a little background and I'm not digging it. Just to let you know, I'm just good.
I drive every day all over the county, working with our clients and projects. So was up at Opala Wines, got a bunch of wine from them for this event coming up. Went up to you, we got a bunch of tomatoes and other things that we could get in season, and just love to showcase what it is we're helping people grow or what it is that makes this area great. Yesterday got to go fishing with my brother and nephews, so we had some great things from the ocean there. We got some clams that Grassy Bar Oyster Company grows in the bay here. So every day you can run around, you could gather so many things from, vendor friends. My friends at Avocado Shack, they hold and showcase so many local vendors, people stuff. So we got everything from Mighty Cat Mushrooms to citrus from Trace Land Organics, and so all kinds of friends.
Jesse.
We'll give you shout outs, but every day, every season, you can go around, you can get things from, beef to fish to tomatoes to you name it, right?
No,
so all the eggs we got from Cal Poly, from the hens you grew. So we had tons and tons. Shout out to everyone there. We're all neighbors. Even Cal Poly, the state, it's interesting to have federal and state, government groups. But hey, we got to show them, how we want to have things done in our area. So, really just kind of putting our money where our mouth is and having a good time doing it. So that's what we're here for.
Eating isn't just, for, that feeling or the nourishment of part of it, but it is very communal. It is very political.
Yeah, it brings people together. For sure.
It's health. Yes, I mean we can't sit here and talk about diet without talking about health, but it's also to understand the power of what you consider food and what that big picture really becomes, right?
Well, and that traces back to all kinds of places. Today I have friends from Spain who we're putting on the Spanish tapas event with. I have friends from Mexico that I work with. I have a friend here that's Salinian, tribe, so native Californian. And really we have stuff from all over the world too. So we brought in a few things that are really great from those other countries. Like our olive oils are imported, a lot of it. Some of the alcohols that we got, like the Aperol spritz, is a cultural thing. So how do you, really unwind? That's what I love about, Spanish, Italian cultures, from the Mediterranean, where we're in a Mediterranean climate. How can we really use that to our advantage? It's always pretty nice out at night, so we could be out here till 9 o'clock, and we can, really work as hard as we want 8 to 5 here in America, but 5 to 9 we really need to relax and kick back and eat, drink, and be merry with our friends and family. So, I got friends, family here. Got everybody who wanted to come out.
Talk to, what is Hazards? What is, I mean,
so the place we're at is awesome. A friend I went to high school with. So,
there you go.
I come in, we eat, I have pizza and beer when I get home late and I don't want to cook for myself.
Exactly.
And so we were in here the other night. And so my friend Lorena from Spain that we're putting this on together with, she's from Galicia, and we, met through kitchen friends. So we just really loved, she's had restaurants, her family's had restaurants forever in her home country. And so we were talking it up, and with Sarah, we said, hey, Monday night you're closed. Maybe we should, do something fun on that night. So we finally got to it. And here we are, summer, so it's a perfect time to kick off. And
just doing a little pop-up.
Yeah, she is here every day but Monday, cooking dinner.
Okay.
And, doing great. We're in this whole plaza where I've been coming my whole life. La Casita restaurant. We have Kuma Sushi. We have Wayward Baking, who we got a bunch of bread and other things from. So it's just really, hey, I'm here every day. I'm here at the bakery. I come here for sushi, come here for the Mexican food, come here for the Italian food. So how can we do something that's really just sort of, a village gathering?
Right.
We need some kind of space. And so we didn't have to invent a new space. We just used the space that was here. We brought a bunch of tables and chairs from our friends at Celia's restaurant. So we're all working together to have a good time.
And Monday nights are those nights where you're like,
and I'm enjoying myself. It's good.
Yeah, but Monday nights are like, okay, you come off the weekend, you're either, trying to do projects or you're trying to relax. Monday trying to get that, energy going again, but that Monday night kind of like, what do you do? What's for dinner, right? Like the $1 million question.
Yeah, how do you set the tone for your week? I love that.
It's kind of fun because you kind of created something in a community right here. You don't even have to think about what's for dinner. You just gathered up, got everything that was fresh and available, and just got creative with it. And then hanging out with friends and close neighbors.
That's how we do it in Los Osos. Monday's kind of the day. We have our farmers market. It's been forever on Monday afternoon.
Baywood Farmers Market.
Baywood Market. And so there's tons of places down there. Beerwood, Ale House, and, High Street. All kinds of places that you kind of enjoy after you've got the week started. We used to have beers on the pier where everyone would get together, and the parking lots of some of the restaurants down here. So this is kind of in honor of that, just really doing what we're doing.
That's awesome.
Monday night.
Yeah, Monday night. So see, I'm, kicking off the summer, it's going to be about food. It's going to be about being outside. But, it's all in, what we're going to create as a community. Nature's Neighbor is all about understanding the environment and where we are and what are we doing, right? Like, how do we keep moving this forward? You cannot start a really good conversation off without exactly what you just did. Putting food in your mouth.
All right, we got to sustain ourselves. I haven't really been eating today. I've been cooking, been smelling it.
Yeah.
So I'm taking all the time I could get sitting down right now to take advantage of that.
And that's just to stimulate the conversation, Josh. We're stimulating it by food.
Yeah, our Aperol Spritz, this is really to bring you, it's an aperitif, so it stimulates the appetite. It's how they do it in other places, right? You get small bites, you just kind of get it going. You can stay for a long time, stay for a short time. It really just come through, have a drink before you go out, have a drink after you go out. How do we just, like we say, make sure we're holding down the fort, putting the light out for the people coming through town.
So explain the drink, because it's orange.
Yeah, so, like I said, Aperol, so that's Italian, like family is great. And we had a bunch of local Prosecco that we got from Opolo. So okay, that's an ingredient, 3 parts of that, 2 parts Aperol, 1 part soda water. Add some local citrus, which we always have here from, all kinds of farmers. So then you just
Speaking of citrus, we were just talking about this, some friends over the weekend. And, we have a lot of people in this community that are trying to decide if they're going to stay or if they're going to go. They're going to move because California is so challenging at times, right? And
when you don't depend on your community, it can be tough.
Yeah, exactly. Or understand the importance of the community that you're living in, right? So, understanding that, there is so much to be said about the community that we live in, and understanding that where in the world can you go to get fresh picked avocados and pretty much any citrus you could possibly think of?
Besides my backyard.
Exactly,
right?
in your backyard. But at the same time, you came up to me, Friday? Last Friday. I have heirloom tomatoes already in June.
Yeah.
I have zucchini.
That was clutch.
We just got cherries, apricots, peaches, nectarines.
Seasons are just shifting right now.
Is it the best pick yet? No, not. I mean, it's all good, right? But, speaking of somebody.
Into summer.
Somebody that eats seasonally, you know, there's nothing better than taking that first bite of that cherry or that first bite of apricot. Because
we were at the farm stand together. We were just going for it. I haven't seen an apricot yet this year. Let's try an apricot.
But that's, again, it's like knowing the community. And the fun thing is that it's all of our friends that are growing this amazing food.
Yeah, neighbors helping neighbors. That's what I love about it. It's all businesses coming together. So my friends, the restaurant business, our friends with the food businesses, our friends with, you know, the markets, everything, so that we can all just really get along. And, you know, you feel in those days. Yeah, a lot of times we're at home cooking, so that's when we're buying stuff from the farmer's market, or days that we want to go out, days we want to listen to music. One of my farmer friends, he didn't have tomatoes or padranos yet, so we're doing music with him tonight. So.
Oh, right. There you go. See, the multi-hatter.
So, yeah, and it's Surfside. We'll see you soon, hopefully.
Yeah, and see, and that's the thing. It's recipes, right? People are always so caught up in recipes. It's like, to understand the ingredient versus the recipe, it's kind of fun because, look, it's not available yet. So what did you do? You compromised. But the thing about us is that your compromising doesn't have to go drastic. There's always going to be something.
Yeah, well, that's why one of the main things in our menu tonight, we call them tostadas. So it's just a toast from right here from the bakery next door, super fresh bread. And you can put anything on that that's in season.
Right.
You know, so we did get some tomatoes because that was just happening. And then we have some of our local goat cheese with the local jam from a friend here. Shout out to Creek Valley Farm Stand, Los Osos.
Right on.
With good friend Jorge Milanes. And so, you know, we're really able to just kind of put something from the season on the plate, whatever time of year it is.
So Shawnee was grating tomatoes. What's the plan for the tomatoes?
That's a dish called pan tamaca. So it's usually where the tomatoes can be ripe enough, you can grate it right into the toast itself. Oh. So you take the toast, you ladle on the fresh tomato, pulp, and then you put a little bit of nice olive oil over that, salt, and it's really simple. We have one that's going to add a little jamon serrano to that, and then we have a lot of dishes. Our Spanish tortilla, which is sort of like the classic Spanish omelet with egg and potato and onions, and so we have vegetarian dishes and meat dishes, which just naturally how you would want to eat. So I love taking the labels off things and just having a menu everyone could get at.
The tomatoes.
Gluten-free snacks. I mean, whatever you need, we're going to have something for you. You know, we're not just... Yeah. We're very inclusive.
Back to the grating of the tomatoes, it almost looked to me like she was doing like some kind of a gazpacho, right? But it's
probably the first step of
that's exactly what I was waiting for, that bread to get soaked in the, because it smelled amazing. I just walked through the little restaurant Hazard here, and you can smell olive oil. You can smell tomatoes. You smell bread.
Making the potato chips. Yes. We're making the tortillas right now.
Explain, because people... It's funny how people don't know.
So
about
potato
how easy
chip, right? We
is.
think of that. Where did this come from? You know, in Spain. My friend Lorena, her parents have had a restaurant for 45 years. Listen to that crunch.
I did that purposely.
So for 45 years, this is like one of their classics. Everyone knows they could come down there. They could have a meeting with their friends. They could get some free potato chips. You know, we're giving this away for free to everyone in that spirit, and then grab a drink and have the conversation. And it's really more about the gathering sometimes of what's going into. But to make this free or to make this affordable, it's what's abundant.
Yeah.
It's what around us so that we can share that. And we
get
can
creative with what you have instead of thinking you always have something. That's like the concept of the recipe. I watch customers come into Nature's Touch so bound and determined they have to get every ingredient of that recipe, right? And I'm like, okay, but wait, what you're asking for is not in season.
Do what you want.
Let's figure out something that we can compromise this. What do we have?
Yeah, pesto you can make out of something all year round, right? Like have friends that do herb school, right? We're doing things like this time of year. They're just making a netto pesto.
Yeah, netto.
They're going to be using some of the elderberry flour. Fritters, and then the elderberries are going to come on later this year. We're going to try and do a gathering with that.
Explain
to teach
what
people
more. I know what it is, but what is an elderberry?
Local fruit, Californian fruit, right? I mean, who would have thought California is full of food? And so right now it's in flour everywhere. So what do you do with the flour? You can make teas, you can make medicine, you can make these fritters. You can wait for the berries to come on. You can make, lemonade. You can make jams. You can make
in the elderberry
tincture.
World, like elderflower, that pollen and that flower. It is so crazy. So
it's everywhere right now. It's all I see. The abundance
I know,
of it.
It's beautiful this year. It's going to be an awesome crop.
On every roadside.
The craziness about though is most of the time, I always tell my students, my young kids, when they tell me they don't like something, I always tell them to plug their nose because if you can't smell it, you can't eat it, right? Well, or you don't taste it. Excuse me. But the funny thing is with elderflower and elderberries, what you smell is not necessarily what you taste. because elderflower, if you actually smell it, it doesn't smell very good, but it tastes amazing. It actually has this fruity flavor to it, but it doesn't smell like that.
It depends on where it grows. Sometimes when it's in a drier spot or a wetter spot, it can have a little bit more, sweeter, sour to it.
Drier seems sweeter.
So when you're foraging, it's like you're not planting things, you're not necessarily putting them in the same condition. So you sort of have to go to where the food is. But that's the best grocery store for me. Like I said yesterday, we walked down to the beach, we pulled out some monkey face eels, we pulled out some, black and yellow rockfish, we pulled out some limpets. We were able to really have a great feast there. And had some of that to put in our stock tonight for our rest of the dish. So, there's so much that is around us at all times that we just have to understand it and appreciate it. And when you see that, like I said right now, that elderberry flower is everywhere. And it's like, I can feel that abundance. I can feel the richness in myself.
Yellow, beautiful, big, huge green bush.
Google it.
It's and we are so blessed.
We'll get into it this year.
It's native to California.
Almost the whole entire continent.
Yes,
and across to Europe.
So the difference is we get a smaller berry where the East gets a bigger berry. And so, understanding, different regions produce a different cultivar, right? And understanding, the different characteristics of the soil that it comes from. But it's just crazy that it grows in so many different soils. Like the elderberry on the coast versus the elderberry inland where I'm from, different, right? Where... it's
going to follow its conditions, but it's going to have the same properties. They'd use it for musical instruments here, all the local tribes and bands. And when you found a really large elderberry that's still growing, here in the area, they usually said that's a telltale sign of a great village site, because that was a really useful plant and tree, to so many uses.
Well, nature's farm must be a spiritual, magical place, because elderberries are like weeds, at our farm. And my mother-in-law, Czechoslovakian, she's been on the ranch for, several, decades. Every year, elderberry syrup, right? Like that's a
what
smell
a powerful
you
medicine.
Yes, and that is.
Great on pancakes, though.
We have it in the pantry, and we have it in the refrigerator. Like, you know what I mean? So we're eating it for a pleasure and using it as medicine. So just different ways of how we make it. No sugar, a little bit of sugar, or honey. So understanding, like, look at what we just said. So, elderberry is used for an immune booster, but it also the power.
Vitamin C, lots of good
elements. But the power of the elderberry is a liver cleanser. And so when people understand, your liver is what absorbs all your toxin, right? It takes in all, and it stores all the toxin. And over time, when we're exposed to so much yuck, you need to clean it. And there's not very many foods and that you are accustomed to cleaning your liver, and elderberry is one of those. There's a couple herbs out there that are known for that, but elderberry is definitely one of those ones. So understanding that it's coming to the season, it's recognizing it. I will have a good harvest at Nature's Touch this year, because we're growing a ton. And honestly, a couple years I've not beat the birds, but it's funny, the years that I didn't beat the birds for the fruit harvest, I have that many more plants that have germinated from the birds farming it for me. And I tell you, this year,
life
no matter,
can be so easy.
If I could just sit back and let the birds farm for me, why wouldn't I?
We can.
Yeah.
Right. No. And we balance that in our life, and that's what's so great. Like I said, we have, all our different size, neighbors and businesses and vendors and all those things here. So I was talking about Cal Poly, and I was thinking about that. I was like, it's just such an interesting group. We really have a great college town because of that. But also, I love the bumper sticker that says Cal Poly ruins everything. It's like, then there's kids everywhere. We want to be trying things up, but then they learn that culture and they bring it somewhere else. I think this place really sits in people well.
There's pros and cons in everything, right? So, and how do we address it? I'm that person that there's things that have come out of all universities that I scratch my head about and go, you had to pay for that? But then there's those other situations that I'm like, oh my goodness, there would have been no way in a community that we would have had that resource to be able to build that or to learn that or to share that.
They sponsor so many great things, and I've done so much, teaching and giving back there.
So, and the thing is everything we do is about how we manage our community, right? You can't just expect community to be here. Josh, what you're doing is you're planting the seed in this community. It's like, okay, so your friend's closed today, so you did this cute little pop-up, and look at all your friends that are here. And I'll be honest with you. You brought somebody down, so Shawnee. Is in the kitchen. I mean,
well, and all our friends, we know each other, so it's
like
great.
Because I'm like, here I'm walking in Osos, and I'm walking into a restaurant in Osos, and I see somebody who's like
from King City.
Yeah, somebody near and dear to my heart, and you're like, oh, I think you guys know each other. I'm like, oh yeah, I do. But then her, fellow Selenian Dee Dee is sitting right out here, and I have to tell you that her family and my family are very close, and it's like she like points at me, and she's like, I'm doing a podcast.
It's like you guys planned it, right?
Yeah,
We're
and
all
here I am driving down to Osos to come hang out with my friend, and I see a bunch of, because you planted the seed of community, right? And that's what no matter pros or cons in any systems that we have, right? Whether it be a university or county government, state government, city government, we get what we put into it, right?
100%.
And what are we going to sit back and complain about it? No.
Let's go. Get involved.
Are we going to get involved? Are we going to do this? Are we going to start a podcast to stimulate the conversation of what the possibilities of what we can do? If you don't like something, be a part of it to fix it, to change it, to be.
I love don't hate the government, become the government. Don't hate the media, become the media. There's all those things of like, really, like I said, putting your money where your mouth is. I love doing that with, what we purchase from our friends and our neighbors, and trying to keep the money going into the places we want it to. So all these things mean so much more all at the same time. All we had to do was throw a party, and we're at the same time, we're stimulating the economy, we're growing our social network, and we're also, taking care of our environment.
We talk about this a lot too in the community. I started the conversation a little bit earlier with people. Are they going to stay in California, or are they going to go? Are they going to leave? And my sense of value of a community isn't just affording it. I have to change the way I live to be able to be a part of my community all the time. What I think I am today is more likely not what I'm going to be tomorrow. And I'll be honest with you, 31 years of a farmer, legal farmer in business, I'm going to tell you that's all I've done is planted the seed, maintained it, grow it, become rooted, right? Become grounded. But at the same time, I'm constantly mutating, constantly changing. I'm opening up my ideas to differences. Yes, I have core values. I have, the knowledge of where I've come from to what is bringing me to today, but it doesn't mean that that's the right way or the way that I'm going to continue. To tomorrow is going to be something different. So this is where also what I'm saying, it's like we as a society have to be a part of what we really want it to become. If we want it to become
that's reality, people.
It is. And so instead of
sitting on a couch and just phoning it in, you really, in a small community, it's great because you show up, you're going to be, rewarded or recognized or just, valued and appreciated for being there and doing your part. I love my crew, really stoked today. They did their job today. Then they came down here, brought all the furniture. One guy went home, got his guitar. He's playing music tonight. The other guys jumped in the kitchen with me. They're doing that part, so.
Look at us. Miguel and I got in the car and came down to South County, It's like, it's so South Coastal County, right? Like it's, it is what it is. And this is the fun part of what we are creating here, Josh.
Heck
I know I see that you want to get back.
Well, I just want to see if anyone's going to start music, what's going to happen. I do have to get in there so we can bring someone else out.
Yeah.
Sit down.
Who are you thinking?
Well, I was hoping to maybe listen to some music, so let me see if they got that set up. Okay. I send someone over to chat. I'd love if Sarah or someone here from the restaurant could really talk about what they're doing.
Yeah.
Here every day. We're just here to really kind of imbibe a little more, kind of that community spirit, and maybe we'll do like a monthly, pop-up thing or some way to really enjoy the summer. So
yeah, if you have a topic or a menu that somebody would want to be a part of and get it out there and talk, and that's what the thing about being neighborly, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna send a farmer musician over here.
We don't have to have the same menu. Like I love cultures that come and go or come and stay. Because it doesn't need to be, Italian or Mexican or Latino or, let's vibe with whatever. And
I love just having
mix.
more holidays on the calendar. So I love all the days I can celebrate with all my friends from all over, from Chinese New Year to Dia de los Muertos and everything in between. So yeah, I'm loving it. Okay, I'm going to run. from the table.
Do you want to say thanks to the sponsors? I have the logo up.
Yeah, so thank
Yeah.
you to the sponsors of Crescent Valley Meats.
Yay, they got in there.
Because they're
Out of Crescent
sponsoring
Valley
us. And of
Meats.
course, Nature's Touch Nursery and Harvest. Without the family of Nature's Touch Nursery and Harvest, I
Yeah.
couldn't do any of this. So,
Yeah, like I said today, I love everyone who, I was like, guys, I'm putting on a party. So I'm already driving around the county doing work. So like I said, we got some vermouth that we're putting down from Hubba
Opalo.
Wines today. But then we got some of the Tempranillo and all the bunch of bubbles and stuff from Opalo. I was up there bringing them all their summer veg. So Rick gave me a bunch of stuff.
you need to
and-
remind Rick, I'm growing a bunch of
Yeah.
still quince that we're going to do a whole like tonic thing
Oh, I love it.
with Rick.
Yeah,
quince,
we have
okay?
a bunch there too, already that we planted. So yeah, I'm really loving it. There's my mom.
Oh, hi,
Hi,
Mom.
Mom.
Yeah, yeah.
Nephew with the Dodger hat. Yeah, let's go.
He can't be on the podcast.
Yeah. Sorry, we beat the Yankees 18-2 the other day. We're still riding high.
whatever, you know.
So, anyways,
Doodle
but yeah,
dandy.
and then like I said, avocado shack came through there, Mike. Everything that we needed,
Awesome.
once. Even what we needed from milk to eggs to flour, everything that we really had to do to get this together. Everyone put in. I love everything we got from Grassy Bar, like I said, everything we got from all the other farmers. I want to send over Farmer Buddy, and we'll hopefully get to bug him about when we could come out to the farm and see what he's doing.
That's awesome.
Beautiful backdrop at Surfside Farms. So Andy
very cool.
O'Brien, let me go find him.
Yeah, sounds
Okay.
good. I will.
Cheers.
I'll keep it rolling while you're playing.
Please do.
Alrighty. So, yes, let's go back a little bit. I'm going to talk a little bit about who is Crescent Valley Meats because they are a sponsor now of Nature's Neighbor. And so, Crescent Valley Meats is your USDA processing plant. Yes, this is something that I am very deeply passionate and a part of. We are doing everything from, fresh, locally raised animals to meat. Then we're also feeding your pets. We do a full raw dog food line we have hundreds of different recipes when it comes to raw dog food. Right on CrescentValleyMeats.com's website. And know your source, right? Like this is how important infrastructure is. Just like how Josh is creating this like pop-up to be able to feed the community and gather the community. Crescent Valley Meats is one of those infrastructures, businesses that a community definitely needs. We have to have it where we can be able to continue our small farm businesses. So, are you our next upcoming person?
I guess I'm prescribed to be your next upcoming.
Come
person.
and sit,
Yeah,
have
sure.
a seat put your earphones on,
Yeah.
talk right into the microphone, and introduce yourself, my friend.
Hi, my name
Hi.
is Andy O'Brien.
Hi, Andy.
I own Surfside Farm, which is a 5-acre certified organic mixed vegetable farm just outside of Morro Bay, right on the other side of Hollister Peak.
Right on.
Yeah.
So, how long have you been farming?
I think around 15 years or so, kind of split half. The first portion of that was in Santa Cruz, and the last 7 or 8 years have been here.
So, what was the driving force to come here and to continue your farm?
A girl, always a girl.
Oh man!
It's always a girl.
Dang it!
Mm-hmm.
Well, did it pay off?
I'm romantic. That's why I farm too. It did. Yeah.
Okay, good.
It did. She grew
What?
up here. She moved into a house I lived at in Santa Cruz, and we hit it off. Took trips down through Big Sur. Ended up here. Fell in love. Came at a time I was managing somebody else's farm up there, and I was kind of looking to do my own thing. And visiting here, just saw dirt everywhere and opportunity. So
Dirt that needed to be turned to soil.
Made the jump. Yeah.
Yep,
Something
exactly.
Like that.
Yep,
Uh-huh.
I get it.
Yeah.
So how many years again did you say? I forgot already.
15.
That's not your walk in the park.
No,
You've
it's
seen-
enough.
Yeah. So vegetable crops? What's the main?
Tomatoes. We mostly dry farm tomatoes. So various heirloom varieties.
In Morro Bay?
Yeah.
Lucky.
Yeah.
You have a warm.
It's right outside of Morro Bay. So when you're heading towards San Luis, towards Quest, it's basically halfway between Morro Bay and Cuesta College on Highway
on.
1. So
Okay.
kind of watch the fog swirl around Black Hill there, and we're right in the beginning of that more interior valley climate, but we still get the nice coastal breeze that pushes through and kind of some morning fog as well. So it's a pretty ideal spot for dry farming.
Got it. So, where do you direct sales, or do you wholesale direct sale?
A little bit of both. Work with a couple chefs and some mostly grocery stores. So all the local health food stores
Right
and
on.
a couple larger ones. All the Lassens through California and
Yeah.
our local Whole Foods.
Very cool. So you've been doing this a little while. So, give us a pro of farming in San Luis Obispo County? Weather, you thinking?
The weather's good. I mean, we're in California. The weather's good for whatever it is that you're growing, wherever you are in California, given the right crop. One of the pros of farming in San Luis Obispo County, one of the things I like the most about farming here is that the ball is just kind of starting to roll and people are really just starting to get it. You know, up in Santa Cruz, everybody's already jaded to all the cool crops and really tasty new varietals. And, you know, when I started farming here 8 years ago and I said dry farmed early girls, people looked at me like I was psycho and had no idea what I was talking about. And now people kind of know what that is. So just being a part of the momentum is my favorite part of farming here.
Got it. Okay, so give me a con.
Well, the same thing. It's not fully going yet, so the markets aren't very big. You have to scrap really hard to pull together enough sales to make it work.
Got it. So, I'm gonna give you a little insight from the ancestral part of me here. So, I've been farming for about 31 years. Templeton.
Okay. What do you farm?
So, I have a little bit of orchard. I have 11 acres of orchards, a little bit of row crop. Did a wholesale plant nursery for years, but mostly animals now.
Okay.
So, you know, I've been, you know, around a little bit. So, it's funny because, you know, my biggest markets for years were Southern California and Northern California. I was always either earlier or later than most of every other place. So, I'm out here doing this podcast because I feel like I need to re-stimulate. Right? We had a peak, right? And then now it's changed. And it's like, I feel like I have to re-educate again. And so I'm excited to actually meet. I've heard of you before, but I've never met you. So I'm excited to meet you because that is where I'm like trying to stimulate this conversation again. Because, you know, you came from Santa Cruz feeling like there was a jaded system about been there, done that. You know, how do we continue to do it? I'll be honest with you. A couple years ago, I was feeling like that, you know, where today I feel like I got to remember that there's peaks and there's valleys, and there's peaks and there's valleys.
Sure.
And
just like the weather.
Just like the weather. And I'm trying to stimulate that conversation of understanding, like, you know, I don't want you to have to pick up and go somewhere else. A farm is something that should be grounded and constantly mutating within its own system, right? And so that is my goal, is to help people understand that not everybody needs to be like you and I, that want to be dirty, that want to be a part of watching something grow and come to fruition and feeding people, you know?
Right.
But at the same time, understanding how important it is for people like you that came here, invested here, and let's try to keep you here for a lifetime. Just, you know, make sure that girl wants to stay here too, though. Okay?
Yeah, she does. We're planted. That one's locked and solid. The whole farming thing, that's the big question mark. You know, it's even if everything is going perfectly right, it's like there's always something. And
I'll be honest with you, mine is that constant walk-in of my retail store, of wondering what regulator is going to walk in and change my system.
Sure, 100%.
And that's honestly where the jaded part comes. Like, there's nothing in my heart that could be jaded against, you know, understanding the full circle of life when it comes to my farm. I understand how important it is, that there's just sometimes you can't figure it out, right? But I'm going to put all my love and my energy into making that life come to that full fruition, right? Going to get value in life. But I cannot explain that regulator that walks in and changes the whole system of what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So
the powers that be, it seems like they're always trying to make it harder for us to be doing the same thing that doesn't change that much year after year. It's like a new hoop to jump through, at least every other year.
Do you feel like sometimes that you're like maybe speaking a language, though, that people just don't understand? Do you feel that way?
All the time, right. I mean, I got an email this morning from some person affiliated with some company saying our entire ordering system is changing and I want to talk to you about it. It's going to be awesome. Can we schedule a phone call? It's this person in Texas. Can we schedule a phone call? It's all computer based. It's going to make everything really easy. I'm like, dude, I don't have an outlet at the farm. I don't have a computer at the farm. I have my phone with a broken screen and dirt in it.
Don't you make enough that you can have an HR system and, you know, staff that will manage all this for you?
I said, I don't know who you think I am, but I grow tomatoes to one of your stores. Like, do I need to talk to you? Yes. When would you like to schedule a meeting? Like,
I mean, what do you do?
So it's
right?
that kind of stuff that you're faced with all the time, and sometimes you get an exception here or there. But man, it's being small local producer, you get lumped in with the big dogs, and it makes it really hard.
So there was a group, I wasn't able to meet today, but there was a group put on by Roots of Change that was they're trying to create a food resilient system. Again, I'm going to say it again. This is a different group because there's been a couple of groups. A couple of people that I know that were going to go to it. I wasn't able to. I have another hat that I wear during the day on Mondays. USDA. So, so that's what
another joy of farming here.
That's the other systems that I work with. But their concept was creating a distribution of resilient system, and I have to tell you, it's like it gets exciting to hear these words, right? Because we do need infrastructure, but somebody that's been there, it's like, okay, let us, you and I, be farmers. And we're in this group of people. Sadly, most of them are farmers. So I'm like, okay, when are you going to do that? You need to sleep sometime. You know what I mean? Like, I would just dream maybe planting that seed out there in this podcast that, come and hang out with us and let us farm. Let you farm, shadow us, protect us, and create the infrastructures that we need so we can stay farming.
Somebody please.
Yeah, somebody
I know
please.
You're out there.
Wherever you are, please, can we get some infrastructure that we can, and somebody that can understand our language, right? Like, just because last year they sold, 500 pounds of black Krim heirloom tomatoes, doesn't mean that this year we're going to be able to produce that many. Yes, we're going to produce some, but it might be even a bigger year or a less year, So
or later or whatever it is.
Why are we going to put all of our eggs into one basket and just grow black Krim heirloom tomatoes? Can't we grow pineapple and hillbilly and all these other varieties?
We have to because that's our insurance policy.
Exactly. And it's funny because on the way over here, I have a person that's helping me out right now, but I've done bees for a long time, 20 years. And it's so much fun now to have somebody else's perspective in it. And a couple weeks ago, we were talking, and it was like, Billy, is this going to be a good year or is this going to be a bad year? I'm like, I don't know. Like, it's crazy because it's been so cold lately, right? Like, it's, is it's going to get warm enough to get the blooms to grow, to really push the nectar? And he's like, I don't know. And like, we were talking about that. Literally within a week, our hives have been building like nobody's business. But then all of a sudden, as quickly as they built, they shut off. And I'm like, don't you wish it could be just consistent and a little bit more reliable? And he's like, wouldn't the anxiety be a little bit less?
That's why enter your Monday hat or some other frantic search for a job that you can do a couple days a week to have some semblance of stability in your life. And I totally resonate with that.
To try to explain this or try to help people understand and feel this, that say they want to be a part. I don't know how else better to explain it. It's you gotta love this in order to do it. So on another note, what did you supply for the meal? Are you the
I actually
music?
Didn't supply anything. Yeah, I came here to play some mandolin. So yeah,
see, you have your other hat. It's been cold for you. So you're planted?
It was a really nice winter, and we were able to kind of get soil worked up at a reasonable time, and then it kind of got cold. And we're planting pretty much April through July. Yeah. So we're producing big, beautiful vine ripe heirloom tomatoes in December and into Christmas, hopefully.
And that's why I was like, you did dry farm early, girls, lucky. Yeah. I dry farm 90% of our crops. Just because I'm in the York Mountain region.
Yeah.
I get 68 inches of rain this year.
You guys get absolutely hammered up there. It's amazing.
So it was, for how many years I've been doing this, I've been building soil so I can retain the moisture in there a little longer. And so I can dry farm a little bit more. And
it's nice to be able to say the word dry farm and not have somebody ask what it is.
Well, you're talking to the fourth generation to pastoral bulls.
That's awesome.
My grandmother's 90. She's still alive and still sharper than a tack. And her father, Refugio Morones, Mexican, I didn't like to go to school, so I did school a lot, and I got to hang out with him. They didn't have irrigation. And he taught me what soil was, and he didn't speak a lick of English, and he taught me by soil language. And he would always tell me about timing, but it wasn't about what the almanac said. It was about the feel and the smell of the soil. And so, and it was also about naturalizing. It wasn't about putting things in a straight line. It was about, becoming one with where you are.
It's kind of how I learned too. No tensiometers, no equipment. Just get out there and stick your hand in and use your nose and use your eyes and walk around every day.
Dry farming is not just kicking the irrigation off people, okay? So that's where I learned is what that really means. So you're actually talking to somebody that
I love it.
That gets it and respects it, because this community is ideal for it.
Yeah.
But it's been mistranslated and misunderstood. So I think you need to come back and be a part of us, here at Nature's Neighbor with Josh and I, and let's talk about these experiences of being dry farmers, right?
Yeah, because I love it. It's nice. It's so nice to meet somebody that's in the trenches with you.
Oh, literally, I'm deep, buddy. I'm deep.
Yeah. I know. I'm like, does this chair have a backrest?
Trying to climb out of them, trying to get out of the trenches and trying to hit that, warm sandy beach with the pina colada in my hand, right?
Just at least in your mind at the end of the day on the couch,
Oh, dude, I'm in that mindset a lot. So, I really, really am honored to meet you.
Yeah, it's really nice to meet you as well.
Keep it up.
What was your name again?
Melanie.
Andy.
Yeah, Andy again. Yeah. It's very nice to meet you. I appreciate what you're doing.
Yeah, I appreciate what you're doing. This is cool.
Yeah, no, thanks, Josh. I was giggling because he was just like, let's do a pop-up in Osos. Okay, Josh.
I had no idea this was going to be here, and I'm about to go get food. And he goes, hey, buddy, you're on over there.
All right.
Okay.
Well, I think we're getting close to our time, and we're at 10 minutes. So if there's somebody else that wants to come pop in, introduce them. Oh my God, I see somebody that comes in. Come on, James. I can actually have.
Perfect.
What are you doing in Osos? Look at. So James is like Crescent Valley Meat Connection too.
Yes.
So and look at you with your hat and your caution vest. I think he needs to walk around with this caution vest on at all times. So. James, how are you, my friend?
All right, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Cycled.
Talk about who you are really quickly.
So I run California Natural Sheepskins, and we've had a connection for actually a long time now.
Very long time, yes.
So I wanted to start tanning sheepskins, sort of saw that they were being not being utilized, and there was a gap in the food web. Really wanted to make my tanning process non-toxic and safe, that I felt comfortable, because it was when the kids were around. I thought I was going to be doing it at home, and a lady, one of the pioneers of organic food, I think she cut all her chemicals out because she had kids at home. It's like, well, time to stop that. It's very difficult finding a process that I was comfortable with, because even the kind of most progressive tanners like, just throw a bit of glutaraldehyde in, be all right, which I didn't want to do. And then I think in 2023, that's when I started building the equipment. I'd already been up to see you guys.
I remember.
And had been picking up. And it's such a learning curve, because, even opening the legs, cutting the hind legs off, opening the necks to help the skins cool down.
Yeah.
It's been a journey.
So let me put this. So California Sheepskins does utilize. So when I took over and started managing Crescent Valley Meats many moons ago, my biggest thing is I want zero waste. If we're going to eat meat, we're going to value the life of that living species, and we are going to utilize every part of it, right? Just like how in the old school days would be. In our world today, the hides are not important anymore, because your art that you do is something that most people have no clue what it takes to do. And James and I have known each other. He called me up one day and was like, I'm going to tan sheep hides. I'm like, well, I have a connection. Well, you have to be out there. I'm going to schedule a day. We're going to harvest these, and you're going to have to meet us at a certain time, because just like you said, it's all about temperature.
Yep.
It is all about how that animal was harvested, how that animal was processed. And I'm very blessed because I have a crew that is very talented at what they do, and they're very kind, and they know how to do this. And James and I have set up a system that, it's like, it's all about timing, right? And it's all about figuring it out. And at the same time, you've built a beautiful company. You've had business trials and tribulations, right? Like all of us, James. You're nothing different than a farmer, my friend. Okay,
Well,
like it's infrastructure, right?
Yeah.
Like,
and one of the things that I wanted to say was, I think like a lot of the tanning that you see online and on Instagram doesn't recognize the ranches and the processes, and everyone's equally as valuable. And like the sheep that have woken up and gone to sleep for 12 months, seen 12 months of sunrises and sunsets, and been looked after by the ranchers. And it's not easy to look after sheep. It's not. And then they come to you guys, and then they're processed, and that takes a huge amount of skill.
Yep.
It's really hard, and they're doing it every day.
Every day.
It's really hard. I can see how hard it is, and then it gets to me. So I'm like the end of the chain. That's the end of a chain that's already quite long.
But the end of the chain that puts the whole chain link. You're our link, James. You keep this circle going, buddy.
Yeah, and then the challenge. So the challenge that I gave myself was I wanted to catch all the skins that I could, which is
a lot
and kind of crazy in retrospect. But I think the skins that you guys see are the reflective of what's been grown on the Central Coast, and that mix of hair and sheepskin is unique. It's unique. And then so what some of the hair sheep, the challenge with the hair sheep, they've got thicker skin.
Yep.
They're harder to tan, and then their hair. So they're not the fiber sheep that people kind of put on there.
And they shed later after you tan them.
So a little bit. You have to comb out. You have to comb it out. But so having that challenge, tanning them, which is a lot of work, and then I needed another stage then to work out what to turn them into to give them more value, and the hair wool mixes. It is a more resilient leather, and bark tanning it ages, it improves with time.
That's awesome.
And so now the hair wool sheep make really good handbags.
So you're doing both.
Yeah, I mean this is my work hat. This is like a year and a half old.
That's why you're in Osos, because wearing something like that in North County during the summer is not going to fly, James. But you're going to need that in Osos.
Yeah,
it's cold here.
Yeah, exactly. And then the sheep the hair sheep that are in their summer coats, you can make bucket hats with. So setting the challenge of trying to catch them all, which is a little bit ridiculous, and then
you did good though.
And then finding out what to make with them that works, because the hair sheep have a stiffer spine. Their skin structure is thicker in the middle, but
let me put a perspective in this. So James is talking about wool versus hair. People don't realize the different species in just sheep, or in sheep. I'm going to speak my USDA term, lambs, because we harvest more lambs than we do sheep. Sheep is when the animal grows a tooth that shows a different age, right? So that's where, when we're talking food, we're going to talk the lingo. Okay, so we harvest mostly lambs. We do at times harvest sheep. We have to label those different. But at the same time, Dorper is a hair sheep. It's a variety of lambs that are raised in a lot of them in the Central Coast. Americans, you hear the little cute accent that he's got going on. So Americans know red meat, right? We're all about what's for dinner, beef, right? But the Dorper lamb produces a meat that is similar to a red meat style, okay? But why? Because hair sheep don't produce lanolin, right? Your wool sheep, which are your Northern European breeds, right? It gets cold. It gets cold up there. So they produce a lanolin that keeps their skins moister, but it also allows that wool to keep them warmer. And so during the wintertime. And so that lanolin changes the texture of that skin. It has more of the oil properties. So the salting, in the sense, the brine of the sense of your tanning probably plays different in how it breaks it down. And then a lot of Europeans want wool sheep where they're on their dinner plates, where Americans want the red meat. And look at you. You just explained another beautiful benefit of the Central Coast, because here we are in Osos, it's colder. People that are closer to the coast or in cooler areas do well with wool sheep or have to shear them at different times, right? People in the inland of the San Luis Obispo County do really well with Dorper because it's a hair sheep.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about them getting too hot too early, and you don't have to shear them as quickly as your wool sheep.
They are literally thicker skinned, and
Yeah.
and even in processing them, they're more resilient. They're less susceptible to heat damage when processing them. It's surprising.
Look at
as
us.
well.
There's so much, James, and I'm super happy. Wait, so why are you in Osos? Are you down here now?
Yeah, so I left Atascadero. I've been moving the last couple of months, which is also quite challenging because I built the equipment in place and then I had to move it. And so that was
You should always put wheels on it, my friend. You never should put it in concrete.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't in concrete, but definitely heavy.
Yeah.
And so I'm still kind of reconfiguring.
Miguel misses you, by the way.
I know I need to. I miss going up there. I need to get. I think I'm ready to start picking up again. So,
Okay, good.
Yeah. So
glad to hear it, and I'm happy. So you do have another place down here.
Yes.
So and then you're still at all your farmers markets that you were attending.
Mostly Morro Bay, every Saturday Morro Bay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other one? Not any other ones?
I'll be at Slow Thursday night this Thursday, and then I'm taking a break from that because the challenge is the amount of labour, the amount of time it takes to tan a single hide is ridiculous.
So you're saying that you need an HR. The gentleman that was just here, we were giggling because it's like these new things. It's like, don't you make enough money that you can have an HR system and an employment and an. Don't worry, we're all envisioning and dreaming that we could too. So, but at the same time, is CaliforniaSheepskins.com. Do we have a website that people can support you?
CaliforniaNaturalSheepskins.com, and then the same tag on Instagram. And I've got I don't know if you remember the last like nearly 30 skins that I picked up that day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just getting round to buffing them, and then once the tumbling drums online, I think they are going to be good for bags and vests.
Listen to him. So I grew up, a Mexican family. You lay the baby on the sheepskins rugs or blanket, because of the lanolin, right? So that's how I grew up. But I didn't, because I'm California, I didn't grow up needing a vest or, I'm not a purse person, but I love your work. I love my hat that you gave me, and our rug that we have at the office, everybody compliments.
That's cool.
And so,
That's nice.
I cannot emphasize how much we need to get out and educate this, because when people see it, they remember when. They don't understand it. And we need, again, to educate this, to be able to stimulate this conversation and maybe get you some support that somebody will go do farmers market for you. Hey, volunteers out there, somebody want to help James sell his sheepskins out at farmers market, or learn from you, right? You have value in what you know. So,
it's been a hard road to get that knowledge and even to make the hat. That's a risk still. You're taking these risks and hoping they pan out. Not all of them do.
Yeah. And guess what? As a seasoned farmer, it's kind of how it is, my friend, But at the same time, I'm pretty sure we're at the time and we have schedules that we have to meet. And we're live right now, by the way. So, it's thank you for joining us. I'm super, this is fun. Because I'm like,
James! Yeah, I saw on Instagram, I was like, I'm going.
Oh,
yeah.
So, got to follow us. And then you got to be a part of this conversation, okay? And stimulate us, right?
Yeah.
Like what you're doing, what's going on, how are we going to connect this better, right?
You don't know till you know, and I think I'd really ever been around actual real sheepskin, and especially not naturally tanned sheepskin, because it's not accessible, because it just isn't, and so you just don't know.
So explain to people what is your cute little accent.
Oh, yeah, I'm English.
There you go.
Yeah,
See?
there you go.
See, and not everybody, is from here. We're all different. And I appreciate that you're here. And I'm so excited and honored for the multiple years of our connections.
It has been.
And, it's fun. We drift apart, come back together,
Yeah.
and we're still doing it, James.
The truck breaks down. I'm away for a bit. It fixed to come back.
And like I said, I get the Miguel running in the office. Mel, where's James? I don't know. He's like, okay. And then he does, different things. But just know, you're missed. Okay, so we're holding down the fort and doing things that we're ready for you whenever you come back. Okay. Alrighty. So.
Thanks.
Here we are on this super fun pop-up Nature's Neighbor show in downtown Los Osos. I can't tell you where we're going to be next week because, somebody asked us today if we do this by script. And I'm just going to be honest with you, my life is never scripted, okay? I just roll with it because if I ever try to script this lifestyle, I'd be, I think I would need more therapy than I do now. So we're just going to roll it, and so, next week. But I want to thank everyone for the reach outs. I'm getting a lot of, just people having comments and a lot of compliments and stimulating other questions. You guys want to be a guest. You want to be a sponsor. We got sponsors now that are sponsoring this show so that we can help keep Miguel employed and keep us all going, right? So that's what we're all about is community, supporting community. And obviously, this is one of my proofs. So thank you to everyone. Have a beautiful week, and we'll be back live next Monday at 5 o'clock. Same place, just different location. So take care.